Okay guys, I just run this is that piece that I shoved through thickness on my thickness cleaner to help cut down on my snake, which I think it worked. I don't see any. And I run a test cut through here, put this edge on it that I'm after. Everything looks good. So, back over here to the spout pile for you, buddy. You done your job. Now, time for me to go ahead and run these through. As always, you run through the cross grain first, then with the grain, so when you get this tear out on the cross grain, you come back with the grain that takes that tear out. See, clean that edge up just wonderfully. Now this next cross grain piece, don't run it through too fast. See, there's another little piece of tear out on cross grain, but that'll be taken up when I go with the grain. All right, there it is. I haven't done any sanding on this board yet, but I just wanted to show you how that edge treatment comes out. You can see that. Puts a nice little OG edge on it that I like to use. I'll get this other piece done. Then it'll be down to just the fine sanding and the finishing. Good. Give the bit time to do its job. Holding steady pressure on the board up against the fence, so it doesn't wander off the fence and give wavy cuts. Okay, we just lost power. That was cute. Something must have got hot back here. Let me. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I must have tripped an outdoor breaker, so I'll have to go out and check it out. I'll pause the video and I'll be back with you shortly. As I had suspected, I tripped that breaker outside. I mean, I didn't have a half an inch to go. So I'm going to recut this. Clean that up. That's good. All right. You're back to running again. Boy, this blows nice cold air over here if you stand next to it. Again, I just don't know how long it's going to take to put enough air out to cool this whole garage. But it's extracting heat because these things are just as warm. Well, it's not as hot as it has been. It's warm, but it's not hot. It's been so hot before you couldn't hardly touch it. So I'm going to let this run. I've been informed that my late morning breakfast sandwich is waiting on me. So when I come back out, I will be doing fine sanding, putting this away, cleaning up after it, fixing cleaning up over here so I can sand at my workstation here. So we'll be back out in a little bit. Okay guys, I'm back. I've been sanding. I want to show you, this is probably the toughest job I have to do with these carving of these plaques. I've got this little small screwdriver And when I do this oak, when the rider bits carve this out, it leaves fine little pieces of grain sticking in the letters. And I've got to go through here with each letter with this little fine bladed screwdriver and try and get those little pieces of fiber out. They come out, but boy, I tell you, with these arthritic fingers, that's a job. It's tough. Well, I've completed that task. Now I've changed out to 120 sandpaper, and this 120 is as fine as I go on this. It doesn't have to be any smoother than that. And I give it a good sanding with 120. Then I try and get the edges here. Though these are pretty smooth the way they come off the router, I still like to run a couple of passes across the edges. Just kind of clean this up a little bit. Okay. Now when I get done with that, I like to take my little brush and kind of give it a good brushing and get all the dust off of it that I can get off of it. I've got an air compressor that I could hook up and blow this, but more trouble than it's worth sometimes. This seems to do a good enough job. And this piece is ready. I got some minor snipe back here, but I've sanded on it, got most of it out. But if you hold it just right, you can see there's a line running across there. But this is going to be on the back of the plaque up against the wall and never being seen. So I'm not going to give that much worry. Now this piece I've rough sanded with the 60 grit. I'm going to go ahead and sand it with the 120. Now I don't seem to have the problem with the fibers when I do this poplar that I have when I do the oak. Like I say, this poplar just carves really, really well. It's probably my favorite medium to carve in. The only problem is when I spray it with my polyurethane, it doesn't have quite the pop that polyurethane gives the oak. The oak, woo, hello. The oak really pops when you put that polyurethane on it. It really gives a whole new dimension to the wood. James, come on. Something's wacky here. My lid's not on there right or something. Dust blowing everywhere. Get off of there. For some reason that's not closing right, but maybe it'll be okay now. Blowing this all up in my face, I don't need that. A little bit better. And like I said, there is a little bit of snipe on the back side of this poplar, but again, it sands out most of it. Up these corners. Okay. Alright, these two plaques are ready for the finishing stage where I sprayed the polyurethane on them. I'll set that up here in a minute, show you how I do that. I know it'd be really interesting to watch. Bore you to death. But just trying to show you the process I go through to put out a plaque, my carvings. Again, these seem to be received quite well by the people that get them. I get thank you notes in the mail and verbal appreciation from the folks that get them. So it's enough to keep me going and doing it. All right, I'm going to pause the video and set up this plaques here ready for spraying my polyurethane on it. Be back with you shortly. Okay, here we go. Minwax polyurethane clear gloss. I'm going to spray this oak first. And you can see that just popped. It just comes to life when that polyurethane hits it. It's just amazing the change it makes. Pardon my backside. And make sure I get these edges real good. And I like to go first one direction, then the next, to try to make sure I get the polyurethane down into the lettering. Take my time with it. And I'll let that dry for a bit, and then I'll come back and spray it. I'll put 5 or 6 coats on, front and back. Now here's the poplar. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the video. I guess I could zoom in, but after I've done it, I'll bring the camera closer. But even though it looks nice when it's been sprayed with the polyurethane, it just doesn't have the pop that the oak does. But again, try to go at least 2 directions. Now, when I put other coats on, I'll come from the other directions. Try to make sure that I get down into the lettering sprayed real well. And this end grain, I try to put extra coats on it because it pretty well sucks it up pretty good. Alright, let me move my camera over here a little closer. Pardon my unprofessional videography here, but it is what it is. Okay, I don't know again how well it's going to show up. You can see how this oak it just changes the whole oak. It just pops, makes it look wonderful. The poplar, not so much, but carving wise, the poplar carves beautifully. I probably say he carves even much better than the oak because I don't end up with all those fiber pieces that I've got to go through and each letter clean out with that little knife blade, a screwdriver blade that I have. It wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the arthritis in my fingers, but trying to hold that blade and do that cleaning, I got to do a little bit and quit and come back a little bit later and do some more. Get a little more right in here. This wood doesn't seem to absorb evenly. I spray it on and let it sit for a few minutes. I can see the pieces that are soaking the polyurethane up, and where it doesn't, okay, I got a nice coat on there. I'm going to let that dry out and flow out and level off, and come back in a couple of hours and see what it looks like. Put a couple of more coats on the top, on the front side. I'll let those dry for several hours before I flip them over and spray the back side. So that's it for now. We'll be back with you in a little while. Hello folks, here I'm back again. I'm still letting these plaques finish up drying, curing, or whatever you want to call it, with the polyurethane on it. But I wanted to give you a completed view shot of these. This is going to be the finish of them. I'm just going to let them sit here and cure a little bit longer, and call it a good project. It's done. These two plaques are finished. I've got them coated. I've got maybe 4 or 5 coatings of polyurethane on this front side, and I think I got 3 on the rear. I don't put as much on the rear. Of course, again, I'm just trying to seal the wood up because it's going to be against the wall anyway. You're not going to see it, but I like to put 4, 5, 6 coats on the front and get a nice glossy shine to them. So there they are. Now, one more subject I want to broach here. Let me step over here. Pardon me for stepping in front of the camera. Y'all know my experiment with my insulating my garage and air conditioner. It's probably, atmospheric temperature is probably 97, 98 degrees outside. Normally this garage, without the insulation I put in and without the air conditioner running, it would be anywhere between 110 to 115, 120 degrees in this garage. It would be almost intolerable to work in. And here's my thermometer. It's showing 94 degrees. So it's not interior house cool in here, but it is a very comfortable temperature to work, especially with my little fan back here blowing and kind of circulating the air around. So I'm going to call my garage insulation job a success, and go from there. I'm going to keep this air conditioner. Like I said, I've committed to keeping it, decided to keep it. I need to finish up my electrical install that I'm doing. Let me pan around here, see if I can get a shot of that for you. Show you what I'm doing. Up underneath there, you can see there's one outlet there, and you follow the conduit across, and the other outlet is right behind the left side of this jointer I have. And then on down, where is it? On down, right in there, there's a third outlet. There it is there. And that'll go on around the wall behind the heaters, the water heaters, and I will bring it on around the water heaters and bring it on around over to right there. Behind all that hanging is the AC outlet. The blue power cord's going up into the AC outlet right there. Let's get my finger right in there. That's where the source will come from. So when I get that done, and I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 outlets out here instead of just the one I currently have. So that's the plan anyway. So I'm going to consider this completion of these videos. Again, I appreciate you watching them. I hope you're getting something from them. If you are, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. And if you aren't, well, thanks for watching. Now this is the DIY / CNC woodworker, and we will speak with you again soon. Hope you all have a very nice day. Goodbye.